This is Money Moves on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Kicking off hour 2 here at Money Moves on VSiN, the sports betting network, Sirius XM channel 158, iHeartRadio, YouTube TV, VSiN Watch app, any of our great local affiliates, wherever you're watching, listening, hanging out. We appreciate it. Stormy Buonantony and Jonathan Von Tobel with you, live as always in downtown Las Vegas, Circa Resort and Casino. Wanted to shout out one of our listeners, Cabo Steve, for saying it must have been a late night because no rundown this morning.
Well, if you were just watching intently, you just noticed that I stifled a yawn as we came on the camera. So it's been, stay out late, get home at like 2, gotta wake up at like 4. It's gonna be one of those days.
We skipped the rundown today because we were so excited about the cold open call that we had from the World Series last night, and it was an absolute marathon, 8 innings, nearly 7-hour long baseball game. I think the final was 6:40 or 6:39, something along those lines. So it was a very, very long game, rewarding for Dodgers fans, depressing for Blue Jays fans, and we have roll on with Game 4 tonight, which should be fun.
Will you give it another shot tonight if they go to extras? Or will you just be like, I can't do this again?
No, I think I'll do it.
Yeah, I think so, too.
I think you have to.
Also, I'm very excited for whatever reason about the 8 p.m. tip tonight in the NBA. Very much looking forward to that.
What game is that? Clippers?
Clippers, Warriors.
Boom.
Come on now.
5-game slate tonight in the association? Maybe more.
4 or 5? One of the two?
All right.
I don't remember.
Can't compete with the 16-game slate in the National Hockey League. Frozen Frenzy coming up. We'll have a couple plays on the ice in a little bit. About Boston? Mm-hmm. I was looking at one angle for them, first period over.
Oh, dang, I was trying to catch you with one that you didn't.
No,
that you weren't ready for.
That was one. But he's making fun of me because there's so many freaking games today. But I was looking at, we'll get to that segment in a little bit, but I think first period over 1.5 was what I ended up firing.
I mean, shoot, you got a late puck drop in San Jose tonight, too. That's an 8 p.m. puck
I'm not
drop.
staying up for Kings Sharks, personally. Although Sharks, better.
That's what I'm saying.
The game I'm most interested in actually is Penguins Flyers, which is odd for me because I'm not usually much of an Eastern Conference person, yet here we are. That said, we'll get to that in a little bit. We'll have NBA talk. We'll have best bets at the end of the hour. There is a piece of sound I know that you wanted to play as it pertains to.
I'm too tired for my Florio. Maybe we just skip that one. No, we'll play it. But, I can't.
When do you want to play it is the question.
We'll do it before best bets. How about that?
All right. Sounds good. But we're going to kick things off.
Coming up in 43 minutes.
Continuing a little bit of our college football talk, because we were kind of taking inventory of some of our college football futures looking ahead. And while a handful, when it comes to season win totals, those are irrelevant for the conversation now, although some of them I'm feeling pretty good about.
Well, in the NFL, I don't think they are because at least the NFL regular season is longer and you have adjusted win totals. So, yes, in college, though, few and far between.
When we take inventory of the NFL, we'll have some win totals that are involved in it. But for the case of argument for this one, we're going to kind of look at some of our conference championships to make the college football playoff, those type of odds that we have in pocket, and see if we want to, from a stock market perspective, buy, sell, or hold the stock that we currently have. And let's start with you.
With me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, I guess one of them we both have. So Utah to win the Big 12. We were just having that full conversation
we're done here.
about the Big 12 conference. We got it at 6-1 in the preseason, currently available at 20-1. And this is a team we actually didn't talk about last segment. We were diving into the Big 12 because they are a team that's no longer in control of their destiny. They do need a little bit of help. But, I mean, their schedule has some opportunity. Big one coming up this week against Cincinnati. If you can make Cincinnati now a little bit dinged up in their record. Right,
but the note that what you're setting up here is just to make the Big 12 title game, and then, of course, we're talking about winning it. I don't think I'm the only one that would say Utah's been somewhat of a disappointment. I mean, we can blame the injury nonsense, especially with that Texas Tech game that they ended up losing. We can maybe put some of the onus there, but the 2 losses they took were pretty disappointing. I mean, even in the BYU game.
They should have won that game.
Yeah.
They should have. And granted, like BYU, yes, had a couple bounces, but of not going for field goals when you probably should have, the continuous need to go for it on 4th down, some bad decision making, some questionable coaching decisions as well, and then a bad break at the end. You lose by a field goal in this one, despite being up in the 4th quarter. That's a tough way to lose your rivalry game on the road, and it potentially cost you from a championship standpoint. But again, I say they have that college game day game against Cincinnati, winnable games at Baylor, Kansas State, and Kansas to close out the season. If they can finish this out and other teams trip up, it's not out of the realm of possibility.
No, that's why I think like something like this to play our game here. I think you're holding. I mean, still like you're not cashing out. You're not selling it off. You're not doing those sort of things. You're holding out hope because again, we have a bad number. They're 20-1 now, but you're holding that they can run the table here, and the rest of the conference cannibalizes itself to the point where, at the very least, you're in a Big 12 championship game where you'll be. What do you think? 5-6-ish. Point underdog to Texas Tech, assuming that's who they play?
No. Well, that's another thing. If you're a Utah fan, you are really rooting for Kansas State this week against Texas Tech. You're really going to be rooting for BYU when they play Texas Tech in 2 weeks, too. Like, there's a lot of things that you need to go right for you.
Yeah, like, there's a couple of these.
But that loss at sorry to cut you off again. That loss at ASU for Texas Tech is damning for.
Hell yeah.
I mean, just considering that they have a Kansas State game on the road that I don't think is a gimme, and an undefeated BYU team for their next 2 games.
Of course. I mean, look, the conference as a whole is just it is rife with parity, as you've talked about. All of these teams throwing in a hat, pulling out. They can all beat each other, so it's not anything shocking to see that we're not going to have any sort of clarity until what seems to be the final week of the season.
Okay.
You've got some good ones in here, though. Boise State to win the Mountain West at -125. I think you could argue, so the current market price is at -200. Again, we're going over our preseason futures that we have and some of the futures we've added. You can make an argument for you to buy more in a Mountain West that doesn't look particularly scary outside of maybe San Diego State.
I was about to say, what if I hold and add a +340 on the Aztecs?
I mean, you can do that too. I mean, I think the problem is...
You've already laid a number?
No, it's not even what's that, but it's also where are you going to be at when San Diego State if they play in Boise.
What's that price going to be just for the game?
Yeah. So I think in this position, you would maybe think, I mean, look, it depends on how you evaluate Boise with the rest of the conference, but the perceived second best team in the conference went up there last week and just got their doors blown off.
But how much of a believer have you really been in what the Rebels are this season? I think you've kind of gone back and forth on that.
No, I agree. I mean, you know me. I've been trying to take my shots against them, and, at the beginning of the season, it didn't really land. But I think I've been consistent in saying, like, look, the Mountain West is down. I mean, it doesn't really look like a particularly great conference with some depth. And as much as we were even giving a team like San Diego State some credit, all of it has to do with their defense. Their offense still has been pretty inconsistent for the most part. And that, to me, is, you have to be somewhat complete. And would you really be shocked if, I do think they play Boise, correct? We talked about this.
Yep, coming up in a couple weeks.
So would you be shocked if the offense can't really do anything and they still lose and fail to cover in a low-scoring game? Like, I think the conference is down to the extent where this still remains what we thought at the beginning of the year, which was Boise's conference to lose. And whoever's playing in the Mountain West Championship game is playing against Boise in Boise, Idaho.
Okay. We both, I know that mine was an in-season bet, but we both have inventory on Miami. You have them for the national championship. I have them to win the ACC. They were -105 when I bet it. You're getting +260 on them now because they don't control their own destiny anymore.
No, they do not.
Sucks.
So the team at the top, what do you think? Do you think they can make their way back into this title?
Well,
this title picture?
I'm in a unique situation with this because I also have Georgia Tech to be in the game, which I feel pretty good about at this point where things sit. If we can get some mistakes here, I don't want to sell my Miami stock. So I don't know what to do with it. I'm not buying more of it.
Got to hold.
Is this another hold? Are
Diamond
we just
hands.
holding?
No, we don't have, there's a couple here, but diamond strong hands. That's what you do here, right? That's what they say. Now, like Louisville is the team that beat them. Remaining schedule at Virginia Tech, home versus Cal, home versus Clemson. I mean, Clemson's not great, and then at SMU. Louisville could lose.
I mean,
games.
I think any of these teams could be tripped up. The ACC is it's another one of those weird leagues too.
Yeah. And for Miami, as you look at their regular season, as we had discussed, which was kind of tough the recent way, or the way you lost that game, SMU, Syracuse, NC State, Virginia Tech, at Pitt, that's a schedule that if you are a national title contender, you should be able to get through. And now you just put all the onus on the teams ahead of you to remain unblemished so that you don't sneak back into the ACC title picture.
What's Pitt's remaining schedule? Because they've looked a lot better lately.
They have 4-1 in the ACC. Their remaining schedule is at Stanford, home versus Notre Dame, at Georgia Tech, and versus Miami.
Yeah, that's tough.
I would assume they're not going to be perfect going through that.
Uphill battle.
So it's not.
I was
going to say you're not dead yet by any stretch when it comes to the Miami to win the ACC. Like for me, it's absolutely like Miami to win the national championship. We're live.
For sure.
16-1. They're now 18-1. They're still going to be potentially a playoff team. Should they not lose the rest of the way? You can make the odd argument that does it help them that they avoid the ACC championship game because they can just be an 11-1 team with only a loss to Louisville.
Yeah,
right?
and then don't have to deal with another game to have to play.
We'll see if that actually helps them out, but I'll be curious to see how they handle them if they get frozen out of the ACC championship game. And the other one, I mean, we're holding big time here. Georgia Tech to make the college football playoff at plus 190. We'll see what they are. They continue to get it done. They've been very impressive, but I think that we're obviously in a very good position because they're favored to make the college football playoff now at minus 120. This was all a symptom of this schedule that at the time we were talking about it. That was a schedule that looked opportunistic, and they had taken advantage.
They absolutely torched Syracuse this past week. Their remaining conference games at NC State, at Boston College, and against Pitt at home. And then, of course, they closed the season out in the in-state rivalry game with Georgia, but that has no bearing on the ACC standings. So, it's looking good for Georgia Tech, which, if you remember, too, how the Georgia Tech-Georgia game went a year ago, back and forth a zillion overtimes, and they almost had it. So it's Georgia Tech's legit.
I've been excited about them. They're very good. And in an ACC that looks not as wide open, but still has a lot of parity at the top with its team, similar to the Big 12.
Yeah, no question about it. Now, obviously, we're talking about the lines that have been on the move, but before the line moves, the Sharp Plays is already there. They don't just follow the market, they help move it. You're not going to outsmart billion-dollar sports books or full-time sharps on your own. But with the Sharp Plays, you don't have to. Advanced AI, they're plugged into trusted sources, and they give you real-time alerts, betting reports, market-moving insights, all to your inbox or X feed. Since 2011, they've been giving you the documented results. Head over to sharpplays.com. We'll be right back.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Stormy, Buonantony, and Jonathan Von Tobel with you back here on Money Moves, talking First Bet as the official racing partner of VSiN. They're thrilled to bring an exclusive offer to bet the Breeders' Cup World Championships. Use the promo code VSiNBC, that's VSINBC. You'll be entered to win a VIP Vegas experience when you deposit and bet $200. Plus, when you deposit and bet just $100, you get a 1-year VSiN Pro subscription for access to all of our exclusive content, picks, and more. Bet the Breeders' Cup with First Bet, the official racing partner of VSiN. Promo code VSiNBC at first.com/VSIN. That's the number one, st.com/VSiN. You sat up.
I did.
Guys, JVT was in prime lounge position, looking back at the screens in Circus Sportsbook and said, I'm just going to do the show like this. And then immediately you sat back up.
I mean, I'm not Mitch or Paul. I can't get away with those sort of things. But
got to work our way up the totem pole.
That's correct. I've only been here since day one. So I think I need to establish myself a little bit more.
We've got a ton of action on the ice and the hardwood coming up tonight. 5 games in the association and 16 in the NHL.
Do you want a great stat that has nothing to do with what you were just talking about?
Sure. Why not?
Who was the worst quarterback in the NFL last year? Played for the Tennessee Titans. I'll give you the hint.
Will Levis was the worst?
Cam Ward still has a worse EPA and completion percentage over expected than 2024 Will Levis.
Wow.
Yeah. So statistically, he has been worse than Will Levis.
Question for you.
Although my eyes.
And I know this is a tangent. Chargers laying 10 in Tennessee this week?
What are you talking about? You gave me crap for this on Monday when we did our what's our thing that we do with the line moves?
Do you approve this move?
There we go.
No, I'm saying, do you want to lay it?
Oh, stop. No, you can't do this. You can't do this.
I mean, the HES numbers are what they are, and the Titans can't move the ball. That's what I said. I feel like
I'm surprised you're not going to.
I feel like this is a don't touch it type of game unless you want to bet, like I said yesterday. No, Cam Ward passing yards. That's the bet to make.
I'm surprised. I feel like by the time we get to Sunday, you're going to be sweating out a Chargers -4, like under or over 30. What are we at? 37.5 kind of a deal. Are we going to be at SGT?
See, there's no need to do SGTs. I only do SGTs for standalones.
Oh, my apologies. I did not know that. I didn't know the sacred rules of the SGT.
Gotta get it together.
Thusly written by Storm Buonantony.
Same game teasers for inquiring minds. By the way, you mentioned Storm Buonantony. That is the Twitter handle. He's at MeJVT. Come join us if you want to get in on any of the conversation today. Also at VSiN Live. But It's Frozen Frenzy Day in the NHL, ladies and gentlemen. So we got all 32 teams in action, 16 games. It's going all day. They do like, for anyone who doesn't know what the Frozen Frenzy is, at ESPN, they do like a red zone style Scott Hansen type deal where they do cut-ins to all of the games. It's very fun, hosted by John Buchagras. This is the second time in the early season already, though, that the first time wasn't a Frozen Frenzy Day, but it's the second time we've had all of the teams in action. The first, we saw 110 goals scored. It was the second most in a single day ever in NHL history. So let's see if we can get another high-scoring day. It has been a high-scoring season in general. We talked about this in the preseason, JVT, that it's like typically I'm looking more toward overs early just because defensively not as
defenses
dialed in.
Are behind.
A little bit, yeah. Games so far this season averaging 6.26 goals per game, up from last year was about 6.08. Last year's Frozen Frenzy, we also had a lot of wild games. It was like 10 comebacks, I believe, was the number that I read this morning. So we'll see if we get any more of that today. The game that I am most interested in, is probably a game a lot of people aren't very interested in, is part of the ESPN National Triple Header today, the first one of the three, Penguins and Flyers. Let me pull up the current odds for this game real quick. Can you talk
Penguins
for a second?
and Flyers is Philadelphia is $1.70 favorite, 6.5 shaded to the under at -130.
See, yes, that has gone, and that's the -170 isn't even the highest number in the market right now. This opened about -150. And it just keeps getting higher. I would like this. I'm going to hold off until I think we get closer to puck drop here and see what the best number is that I can get on Pittsburgh. I have a little bit of interest in taking the dog here just because I think that Philadelphia is overpriced in this spot. I am already on the over 6, and there is still, I think, a couple of those out there in the market, though we've largely moved to 6.5.
No worry on the back-to-back angle here for
So
Pittsburgh?
This is what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I think that's a big part of why everybody's fading Pittsburgh in this spot is the rest disadvantage they have because it is their third game in 4 days, and they're on the second half of back-to-back after yesterday. So it's not a great schedule spot. It's a big rivalry game in the state of Pennsylvania. I'm just not sure I care. And yes, it's the second half of a back-to-back, but it's in-state travel. It's not like it's anything too crazy. They are not playing well defensively, which is why I like the over in this spot, but they have just been able to find ways to score goals night in and night out. They improved yesterday to 7-2 and won with the 6-3 win over St. Louis, had the game in hand pretty early in this spot. Historically, they have had the head-to-head advantage over the Flyers as well. They're averaging 3.8 goals per game, second in the league in per game scoring. So I like the over 6 more than I like the Pens today because while they score and they obviously struggle to hold anybody out of their net as well, the goals should be there, especially since Philadelphia has done a better job scoring at home. But the way that the Flyers are being priced here, I just think it's too much. So it's a price point thing more than anything else. And I know at some point regression is inevitable for the Pittsburgh Penguins. They're not going to keep winning games at this rate.
That was going to be my question.
But it's kind of hard to bet against the really hot team right now, too.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it was going to be just big picture. Point totals at 85.5 for Pittsburgh right now, shaded to the under at -125. You look at some of the underlying metrics for them, especially at even strength, losing in terms of shot share on even strength through the course of the season.
Expected goals against.
Yeah. But, and I feel like this is unsustainable. Again, I'm not too great with the intricacies of hockey, but still generating more high danger chances than your opponent, despite the fact you're losing out on shot share. I would assume you're not going to be able to continue to do that if you're Pittsburgh. And thus, at some point in the big picture, whether it's tonight or whatever, it might behoove us to look at like under 85.5. Yeah. And if it's true where we've talked to some people who think like Crosby might be like on the way out if they're going to trade him, then that's going to be something too might be worth looking at.
Well,
a strong start, but buy low or on an under.
So that's how I don't think that this is going to be able to continue for the Pens, but it's interesting because we have that perspective on it. I've also heard a handful of people that are like, well, if the Penguins keep on winning, then why would they trade anybody off? Could you take a plus money price on them at a decent number to make the playoffs? I can't get there. I'm more with you. I think we lean under toward the points total. This train is going to stop at some point. I'm just not sure that it stops against the Philadelphia Flyers. And if it does, more power to you. But I'm going to see whatever number I can get to on a plus money price on this one tonight. But I am definitely over the 6. So the over 6 is the best bet for me in this one tonight. The only other game that I was really interested in, I do have a bet in the Islanders-Bruins game that you mentioned. I was looking through my betting account, and I did end up laying the -130 on the over 1.5 for the first period over. Bruins, 8 of their 11 games this season, including the other night, all over in the first period. Islanders, 6 of their 8 first period over. Bees are on the back half of a back-to-back as well, just like we were talking about with the Penguins, which could mean you get a little loosey-goosey, tired play early. So give me the over 1.5 for the first period there.
All right, so I have my hockey notebook. I have a question for you.
Okay.
What's going on with Edmonton? They get Utah today. Mammoth are off to a great start.
Yes.
Yep. Mammoth are off to an awesome start, 8-2-0. They've played well on the road. I think that they are undefeated at home. Edmonton has lost, I think it's like 5 out of the last 7, somewhere in that range. They've dropped 5 out of the last 7. Even strength numbers paint the picture of a team that's probably right around where they are, which is like floating around 500. But this is a slow start for the Oilers. Is this just the general, hey, hangover after the long season, you lost the Stanley Cup, or is there more to this? Because they did, like they're a different team than what they were last year, right?
That's more of how I see it. Yeah. Is I don't think that it's abnormal for them to have a slow start, and it's been season after season too that they've had the long playoff run that does start to catch up with you a little bit. But I also think their ultimate goal when all is said and done isn't early regular season wins. I know all of these wins count the same, but their priority is peaking at the right time and being healthy at the right time. So the slow start, not ideal, but I don't really think it's anything to be particularly concerned about. They are one of the most talented teams in the National Hockey League, and we'll get it figured out. What's happening with the Mammoth, though, you've got to be excited. The Utah Utes might have let you down, but the Mammoth are having a lot of fun. Ever since, what's his name, Tusky?
Emerged from the ice, the
Ever
glacier.
Since he came out of the glacier.
Yeah.
It has been, they've been unstoppable, and a big win for them on Sunday against the Winnipeg Jets as well at Edmonton tonight. They are a plus 130 dog. I stayed away from this game in general, but it's, again, hard to bet against a hot team right now in the NHL. This is a game that can be very streaky, and they're on a good one right now.
Ovechkin getting number 900 tonight?
Maybe, plus 150 if you want to go anytime goal for.
Just needs one?
Just needs one. Just needs one. I did also, I didn't bet Golden Knights Canes over 6. But I lean over the 6 in this one.
Real quick. I'm sorry. I know you're going. I want to go back to Ovechkin really quickly. Are we not going over shots on goal? Do you not think that they're going to start, like, unless there's like another spot on like the schedule coming up, they'd prefer to give it to him? Wouldn't you think they're just going to feed him how long has he been sitting on $8.99?
Let me pull it up.
Yeah, well, because you know what I'm saying? Like, are they not just going to feed this dude shots so he can actually get it done? Especially, obviously, if they're in an empty goal situation at the end. I mean,
all right,
you're going to be in a pretty
good
good spot.
It's over 3.5 plus 126.
I mean, you got to assume he's going to be chasing it, right? That was like all of last season, was just chasing that goal mark, and now here he is, one away.
And it's different, too, because you're not the shot production just hasn't been there recently, so you're actually getting a decent number on the plus price because he's only had 1 shot on goal in 3 of the last 4 games.
Right.
Maybe.
There we go.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Dodgers big favorites coming up in Game 4 of the World Series tonight as we welcome you back here to Money Moves. Stormy Buonantony, Jonathan Von Tobel with you. Shohei Ohtani after the big day at the plate and on the bases after all of the walks. Back on the hill today as your starting pitcher for Los Angeles in the spot. And Buster Olney of ESPN tweeted a minute ago, Shohei Ohtani is known amongst his teammates as an epic sleeper. Someone who regularly banks 12 hours.
That's crazy to me. I can't do that. That's literally half your day. Now, I guess, if you're a billionaire or gazillionaire athlete, I understand the importance of taking care of your body. You lose so much time.
I love sleep. I love a nap. I could not sleep for 12 hours.
Yeah, I'm not.
But that's the norm?
Yeah, that's crazy. I couldn't do that every day. I'm not a big sleep guy.
You get, on average, 3?
That's a little. I probably have 4.
Okay.
When
I get 4, I'm like a zombie person, and you're like, oh, that's like.
Today,
this is a Tuesday, Stormy.
We're running a little low. We're only on like 2 today, so it'd be nice to maybe get a nap a little bit later. But 12, that's half your day. You don't feel like your time's wasted?
And I get it. Like, as he finished the tweet, Buster, that is, said all the Jays and Dodgers needed it after Game 3. Yes, that was a late night. You're going to enjoy as much rest as humanly possible, especially if you're Shohei Ohtani and you have a day where you're going to be throwing against what has been the best offense in the postseason leading up to the World Series. That said, 12 hours, that's just wild, bonkers to me. Did you end up firing on anything in the World Series today, or are you just sweating out the -1.5 games for the set?
Oh, that's what it was. I was trying to remember. I'm like, man, like yes, I'm going to follow down the same rabbit hole that Adam Burke was talking about here with going up against Bieber and expecting some offense for the for the Los Angeles Dodgers. So going over Bieber's earned runs tonight, I think is something worth looking at. Again, too, one of the things I think that would worry you potentially is the fact that if he gets dinged up early, like that was one of the worries yesterday when it came to Scherzer, was if he gets dinged up early, like maybe they're going to pull him or something like that because they're going to be worried about it. Here, though, given the status of your bullpen, I think you're going to, even if he gives up some runs early, you're going to leave him out there for a few, even if it's short. Over 2.5 was about -105. I think at DraftKings now it's -109. That, to me, was the play tonight here to go against Bieber. I mean, Adam's been all over it. Bieber has 3.76 ERA, it's fine. Some of the underlying metrics, though, kind of paint the picture of a guy that we know is going to give up some hard contact. And I think this Dodgers lineup, I mean, they are, despite the fact that it took them forever to finally put an end to the Blue Jays yesterday, against a righty like Bieber, who's got a 4.47 FIP in the regular season starts, I think he's going to be able to get after him.
We have seen about a 10-cent move back in favor of the Blue Jays here, but Los Angeles still -206, so not as significant when you think about what the price is. Run total for the full game sitting at 8. We also have 5 games coming up in the association tonight, including an NBC doubleheader, the 2 national games, Knicks and Bucks, Clippers Warriors, which you'll be 2-boxing, I'm assuming, between this game and the World Series later.
I believe that the World Series will be on the screen without sound. This is a big one tonight.
Okay. Oh,
come on now. Clippers. Every game is a big one for the Los Angeles Clippers.
Especially when season win totals are involved. Okay.
Hey, they've bounced back. They've bounced back nicely since the loss to open the season against the Utah Jazz. So there's at least that. They play well at home. Currently undefeated at home. This one's not at home, so it doesn't really matter. It's irrelevant.
2.5-point road favorite, though.
Yeah, I mean, so I haven't. Let me double check here because this is about the time we get some clarity on the injury report. Remember, for Golden State, the second leg of back-to-back, they played last night against Memphis. So we don't have yet any clarity on what this is going to look like for Golden State tonight. I would assume that you're going to rest some folks, but you know what they say about assuming, and yesterday I assumed that would be the case for Jaylen Brown, and I assumed that Zion Williamson, who wasn't listed on the injury report, was going to play.
How mad were you about that, by the way, with Zion?
I was very upset, of course. I was texting with Chris Passero throughout the day. Have you heard any updates? It's ridiculous what's going on. And then our guys in the Harvard Handicappers group chat. And, we were going back and forth about it and just talking about this injury thing is just driving us nuts already.
Yeah.
So I was very upset.
One game I did want to ask you about, the Philadelphia 76ers, also on the second half of back-to-back. They're laying 4.5 in Washington, taking on the Wizards, total 239.5. But how about this start?
Come on now.
And listen, I've been anti-Philly, and it's a long season, and we're only 3 games in, but 3-0, and how good have Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe been?
Their backcourt is great. Do not keep pointing this out because, obviously you're going to go to the backcourt and say those 2 names. Do not forget that their third leading scorer is Quentin Grimes off the bench, who has scored 17 points per game. He has been great. Scored I believe it was him who hit the game winner against Charlotte the other day over the weekend. Quick side note, because I mentioned them. Brandon Miller with a subluxation of the shoulder. He might need surgery.
No.
Sounds like at least 21 days.
JVT.
Yep, he's going to get a second opinion. We'll get back to Charlotte in a second, but it's worth pointing out we got some of that news in the last 12 hours or so. But no. So this goes back to what we talked about, and Embiid's going to play tonight. That's the big one. So Embiid, missed the last one because of injury management. Now on the road here, you're going to get Embiid out there. Still on about that 20-minute restriction, so keep that in mind. Especially he has not been closing these games out, so that's something to monitor too for Embiid. He's not played in these fourth quarters, but either way, this is the start, and this is what we were talking about with this Sixers team. It's a good blend of young and old talent. And when a guy like Joel Embiid's not out there, you've got all of these guards that are super athletic that can go out and run and score. This is a team that I think is going to be, just keep an eye out for them. And they've got this long runway to allow Joel Embiid and Paul George to get back, work their way back, and be somewhat healthy. You just need them to finish in the top 6, right? Just get in the postseason. That's all they're kind of shooting for. Maybe a top seed is in play, but they're going to be pretty good. And against Washington, it's not been great. With Embiid out there, maybe the line's getting overinflated a bit, but I don't know, man. I'm pretty pro-Philly outside of that game against Charlotte, who I just really like Charlotte a lot. To me, it would be Philly or nothing.
Yeah, he sat yesterday, and they still got the win.
But, yeah, Brandon Miller, it seems like he's going to be out for a little bit here.
So,
brutal.
Well, the game today is like the battle of my 2 futures plays because I have the Heat to make the playoffs
That's right. I forgot about that.
I have the season win total for the Hornets. Charlotte.
You played playoff, right? Not play in?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Just because you were getting plus money on that one versus minus 105 for the play in. Hornets plus 5.5 tonight, total 241.5. Did you have any interest in that game or any other one on the card that kind of stood out to you tonight?
No, I mean, tonight, we've talked about them. This one is obviously going to be interesting for a couple of different reasons. First off, potentially, again, we're in the early portion of the year, only 3 games, but potentially the early front runner for most improved player of the year. 28.3 points, 8.3 rebounds, and 9.7 assists for one LaMelo Ball on 48% shooting. Like, this dude has been nearly averaging a 30-point triple-double through the early going of the season. And the Hornets, from an offensive efficiency standpoint, one of the best offenses in the league. So that's going to be an interesting test for Miami. Look, I'm very pro Charlotte. I think that they've been a team that's been pretty underrated. Like you're talking about with the line here against Miami, maybe continue to kind of play on this team because as you look at what they've been able to do, they are 3-0 against the spread. They have been a bet-on team. So maybe worth just riding this train again if you've been, as we talked about, right? If there's a trend or a run that you've been on since the beginning, if you've been betting Charlotte since the top, then it might as well just give this one more shot against Miami, catch a 5.5 on the road tonight against the Heat. And we'll just point out, situationally, it is a bad spot for Golden State. So to go back to the assume, it would be the Clippers tonight. Okay. Like that is the spot if we can get some official word whether or not they're going to rest some guys. And we should also know.
So do you kind of want to bet the 2.5 now?
Yeah, like
then?
You would want to bet it now, obviously, before some of the news comes out. And that is a number that is, I think, telling us that that's going to be the case, that these guys are going to sit. I would assume if we get some news, it's probably going to get to like 3.5. And obviously, if it doesn't, then we're going to swing back. Golden State's going to be favored. We should also note that Chet Holmgren, questionable today, has officially been ruled out against the Sacramento Kings tonight. Back tightness.
Another thing I wanted to ask you about, Mavericks off to a tough start to the season, 1-3, but nobody really struggling more than Cooper Flagg. Had a couple welcome to the NBA moments here. Obviously, you go up against Victor Wembanyama in your first game of the season. Then yesterday against OKC, he scores 2 points in 31 minutes, 1 and 9 from the floor, doesn't record a single assist, was minus 20 in his 31 minutes, found himself on the bench in the fourth quarter as they were trying to come back, and now is dealing with a shoulder injury as well. So what's going on with Cooper Flagg? Yeah,
it sounds like maybe there's something a little bit more serious here for Flagg. We'll see if that's actually it, but the shoulder injury does seem like maybe it's going to follow him a little bit. Now, I don't think it's going to be anything that is going to keep him out and put at risk the Rookie of the Year or anything like that, but maybe his next start is going to be in some risk in terms of being out there. And if it is, I mean, dude, Dallas this offense isn't really good. They don't have that many ball handlers, which is why they tried to get Cooper Flagg to kind of be this faux point guard at times. So if he's not going to be out there, and think about yesterday, Stormy, one of the reasons why we got there, we got somewhat lucky. It was the inverse of the injury report. Derek Lively didn't play. Daniel Gafford didn't play. Obviously, we know Kyrie's out. And now all of a sudden, if Cooper Flagg's going to be out, I mean, we've seen this with Austin Reeves the last couple of days where there's nobody left, and he has this giant workload, and he's been going over his point, rebounds, and assist prop. Might be the same for AD if he's the lone man out there for a team that doesn't really have that much talent because they're so injured. Yeah,
their lone win so far this season against Toronto, but every other loss has been by 7 points or more, so not particularly close when it comes to the spread in general. Reminder, everybody, Sports Equinox is here. We hit the Sports Equinox parlay yesterday. We're going to recap our best bets and hit on our best bets for tonight coming up. But with the Sports Equinox underway, with all 4 major leagues in action at the same time, we are celebrating here at VSiN right now. When you sign up, you get full VSiN Pro access to everything we do through May 1st for $120 with the Sports Equinox special. That's less than $20 a month. You get best bets from all of our show hosts and guests, all of the betting splits from Circa, DraftKings, Brocco, AI-driven prop projections, 24/7 live and on-demand video, plus our exclusive coverage of the World Series, football, NBA, NHL, March Madness, and the NFL Draft as well, which will be coming here before you know it. VSiN.com/subscribe.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This Tuesday edition of Money Moves on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Remember, if you missed any of the show, Money Moves, always available in podcast form as well, wherever you get your podcasts. He's Jonathan Von Tobel. I'm Stormy Buonantony. We got best bets coming up. Before we look ahead, got to look back a little bit to how things transpired last night. And a decent day overall, especially when you hit an 11-1 parlay that we literally only put together for the holiday.
That's right.
Sports Equinox, baby, came to pay. We appreciate it. Thank you to all of you who were tweeting at us on social media as well that you joined on the Sports Equinox parlay. We were it came down to Anthony Davis rebounds at the end, and we got there in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I definitely thought he wasn't going to get it. He was giving up some lollipop offensive rebounds to Isaiah Hartenstein. I was like, really? Think this is it? And, of course, because in an exercise like this, I just wanted my two legs to hit at the very least. You know what I mean? Like, I want you to be the failure, not me, not my reasoning. So, of course, it came down to it. But we got it. It was good. It's cool and fun to hit something like that. And yours, I mean, to give you credit, yours were real no sweaters. The other, to my two legs, we had to work to get there. But, I mean, Penguins and Jazz, I was going to say Jazz, Blues went well over. No problem there. And Travis Kelce.
Travis Kelce had a day.
Yeah, I saw that big scamper in the third quarter down the right sideline, and I hadn't checked the stats yet, but I was like, oh, that's like 35 yards there. We're good.
I was nervous when he had the pass over the middle that popped up and got intercepted. I was like, oh, no. But then very next drive, they came right back to him and continued to feed Travis Kelce throughout the game. So got that one home. And same thing with the Scherzer outs. Like, that was one that, like, as it was transpiring, a little bit anxious, but we got there. So, fun win for the show yesterday. In general, I also played Travis Kelce receiving yards as a single standalone bet last night. Isaiah Pacheco over the rushing yards came through. Rashard Smith was the loser. And we talked about that maybe it was going to run dry, and it did.
Yeah. I mean, you had a good day.
What are you going to do?
Well, I was going to say, what are you going to ask for, huh?
Again, when you hit the 11 of one, I don't even care about anything else. Like if you had the rest of the game, who cares?
Me? Am I going? All right, yeah. So Pelicans -1.5. That was fun yesterday. Again, losing out on the information battle that is in the NBA. Tremendous. Davis rebounds over, got there. I got to stop, I guess, with the Commanders. And not even the Commanders, I shouldn't say that, just these bad teams. Commanders +10.5 don't get there. We're still waiting. Dodgers -1.5 games. Big win there yesterday to get that done because obviously it's a much better situation with this team in the next two in L.A. And then, of course, that parlay that we're talking about. So let's go and get it done here with the Dodgers, and we can get this thing home.
Rooting for you on that. As far as tonight goes.
Sincere, thank you.
No, I am, because it's not an official best bet of mine, but when I asked you what you liked in it, I just bet it just to have a sweat in the World Series because I didn't really have any interest. And so I have one of those in my account, but I had none of my own genuine rationale or strategy behind it. It was literally, you really liked the bet, and I was like, okay, I'll throw something in. So I would like you to win because then I will win.
Teamwork.
As far as tonight goes, I mentioned already in Puck Around and Find Out that I'm on the Penguins and Flyers over 6 today. And I think potentially, so it won't be a best bet, but just from a pricing standpoint, if we get farther out on the Flyers being like -180 favorite and you're getting like +150 on the Pittsburgh Penguins, I think just price-wise, I'm probably going to end up jumping in on that side. But big picture, they are scoring a lot of goals, and they're not stopping a lot of goals from going in. So I think that we get over 6. I know you can get plus money on the over 6.5 if you want to go that angle. I like having the opportunity of a potential push, but I think we get there either way. I'm also going to the NFL today. I bet the over in the Cardinals and Cowboys game. I mean, you got a Cowboys team that's the number 2 scoring offense in the league, averaging more than 30 points per game themselves. The Cardinals, I think offensively will be able to do work against this defense, which is the second worst defense in the National Football League. Cowboys also at home. I was just looking at, they always score better at home. All 3 of their home games to this point, they've had at least 40 points.
Yeah.
So I think we see more of the same when it comes to that. We talked earlier this week about the numbers for Dak, best QBR in the league, 3rd in pass yards, 5th in completions, tied for 2nd touchdown passes. George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb, Javonte Williams, everything is clicking for that offense. So everything is kind of set up in my mind for that game to go over the posted total. I was even looking their last 5 full game totals. Denver 68, Washington 68, Carolina 57, Jets 59, Green Bay 80. So let's keep it rolling. What else did I put here?
I was going to say, you keep it rolling.
I guess I have more.
We have two blurred best bets.
I'm going on the Megapod today with Gil Alexander and company. I am very excited. So I did more early week NFL bets than I normally do.
First time?
First time what?
On the Megapod.
I was on the Megapod once last year as well. And apparently I didn't mess it up too bad that I got a repeat ask. So excited to be back with the crew today. I'm on the Broncos and Texans under. I don't really know if I need to give much more rationale for that other than we have 2 good defenses and offenses I don't believe in at all.
Sure.
And I know Denver just dropped 44, but what did I just tell you about Dallas's defense? So I'm not sure what to take away from that. I'm not sure what to take away from a 33-point fourth quarter either, the game prior. So I think that offense is more of what we've thought it's been throughout the course of the season, and will struggle against this Texans defense. And then a 6-point teaser bringing the Ravens down to 1.5-point favorites. Just get me a 2-point win in Miami on Thursday night. And honestly, I think the Lions are going to win big against the Minnesota Vikings, but bringing them down from the 8.5 to 2.5, paired that together.
Okay, like it. Nothing for me in the NBA, just one thing like we talked about. We're going to go Bieber over 2.5 earned runs tonight at minus 109.
Okay.
And then we're still sweating out this Dodgers series price, minus 1.5 games. So very pro-Dodger tonight, if you will, and throughout the series.
Do you want to have a little fun with something with me?
Not really.
Boo.
What do you want? What?
So Steve Fezzik was texting me a moment ago. He was listening to the show. Appreciate you, Steve. He said, any interest in the Grand Salami tonight over 98.5? For anyone who doesn't know what that is, it's total goals for the entirety of the slate today, and it's Frozen Frenzy, all 32 teams in action today. I mentioned we had the second most goals ever on a single day in NHL history. The last time that all of these teams were in action with 110, the number's 98.5.
I mean, you would be the one to analyze
It's just fun. There's no, genuine analysis to that. I mentioned those scoring being up. Couple games here. I just told you one game that I think is going to have a lot of goals in it, but
Correct.
Can we get that to translate and snowball across the board? I don't know.
What's the weather like in some of these places? Affect some of this.
No Winter Classic today.
Oh, okay.
No outdoor games.
Sure. Yeah. Go for it.
Just for fun. Should I do it? Just for fun?
I mean, or you can be.
I'm not going to make this an official best bet, but let's ride. Let's have a little bit of fun. Over 98.5 total goals, Grand Salami on the Frozen Frenzy day.
You can be a total buzzkill and just bet under.
No.
Why not?
It's no fun.
I mean, it's probably going to get bet up regardless. I mean, right? I mean, that's probably the play. You got to have fun, so just bet it under.
You want me to be contrarian on the Grand Salami bet?
Right. Got to play against it. That's it. All right, let's see. I had some news. I wanted to see if I got everything out here for the association. We had some recent news.
Oh, by the way, in that Ravens teaser, I was just going to say, Lamar Jackson listed as a full participant yesterday. So it's good news.
This was the news. It was not NBA related. We should note that it is official. The Tyler Shuck era is beginning for the New Orleans Saints, announced today. He will take over. He will start against the Rams.
Spencer Rattler, it was nice while it lasted.
Yeah, I mean, I'm more curious to see. You couldn't beat out Spencer Rattler, and Rattler's lease was so short that he got benched relatively early in the season, I suppose. But now what does this look like with Shuck if some of the reports are as bad as they were coming out of camp, that the dude looked really lost? They're catching 14.5 on the road against LA. In a
what do you do with that?
In a month of favorites, what are you talking about? What do you do with it? You bet you know lay the Rams.
You know that 14 is screaming at you to take with the Saints. You know it is. It's screaming at you.
I don't know if it's screaming.
You want to tease it up to 20?
I was going to say 20.5. No, I want the 15 again so we can talk about how I wanted to tease up the Titans to 21.5. Yeah, give me that 15.
If you had one game,
15 hates to see me coming.
If you had,
tease that bad boy up.
one of these big dogs on the slate that you're just
one of the big dogs?
I want to get hurt again.
I mean, the obvious ones are ones we've talked about, Titans catching 10 seems like kind of whatever. That seems a little high. I will point to, if we're really forcing the issue, I still can't find myself unattracted to Minnesota catching 8.5 in a divisional game against the Lions.
You can't?
No, I can't. Why?
After a whole 15 good minutes of J.J. McCarthy at quarterback and
they were good 15, though.
Really clutch. Banged up offensive line.
Very clutch.
I thought you were going to say Carolina Panthers.
At some point, the Carolina Panthers, is Andy Dalton playing? I know Bryce Young, it looked like, did he had a
I would rather have an injured
today?
Bryce Young after what I saw from a healthy Andy Dalton.
That was bad. Dude.
At least he can run around, although on a high angle, I don't know.
I know we're on the way out. I'm just going to say, look at these favorites, man. At some point, the worm turns 14.5, 10.5, 8.5. 12.5.
I don't think I've ever heard that phrase. At some point, the worm turns.
I believe I said that right. I'm going to look it up. A meek person will resist or retaliate if pushed too far.
That's a new one for me. I got to tell you. At some point, the worm turns, and the worm turns to follow the money next on VSiN Sports Betting Network. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. Good luck with your bets. Mitch and Pauly coming up next.